I thought it'd be interesting. It might not work out, but I thought it'd be interesting to kind of just take a quick look or talk about how the process that I used to putting these rooms together, because it's kind of a little bit here and there, it's a little bit crazy, but it works for me. So obviously we started out with just the bare rooms, their wallpaper that we'd decided on for each particular room, and then I just slowly went through each room and decided how I wanted each room to be themed. What was the feel I was going for in each room, and just made like a pile or a bag or a box of the particular pieces that I thought I wanted to put in each room. I also made a lot of lists, a lot of detailed lists about the things that I thought would be really nice to include in each room, and then kept notes on those lists about things that I thought of and I wanted to remember when I was building these rooms. I don't always follow them, but I think for the most part it was really helpful. I'm a list person. Give a like if you're a list person, because I am. I don't necessarily have to read my list or follow my list, but I like to make the list. I know, it's weird. Okay, moving on. Anyway, so we started to build some key pieces of furniture to go in each room. So, like for instance, in this room, we decided it was going to be Peter Rabbit themed. So this was going to be a focal point in this room. So we picked this one out and started building around, perhaps this piece, and the beds, of course. My TV's flashing again. It always looks like it's storming outside my dollhouse. It'd be great when we start working on our spooky house to have it storming outside our house, but not so much for this one. And for this one, I was going for more like a really feminine, frilly, feminine style room. And just, like I said, built pieces that I'd purchased or I'd made around that theme of the room. And if I wasn't feeling anything particular that I wanted to do on that room, I'd move on to another one and make another piece. And just slowly just gave myself a lot of patience and a lot of time to put all these themes together. And once we got our key pieces of furniture decided and themes that we wanted for each room, then I started on the drapes, because those have to go in, obviously, and the trims, for sure, before you're installing lighting or furniture. So that's what I did after that, just working on, what trims I thought would, bring out the particular vibe for each room, and simultaneously working around the light fixtures. That was really challenging for me, just trying to work these fixtures into the house as I was building, because I've never done this before. So that was really challenging to try to hide everything. And I know I've said before I didn't really succeed greatly, but I tried. And yep, so we just tried to work in our light fixtures and our window treatments and all our trim into each room according to my notes and what I was thinking each room would be themed by. And then we went back and recategorized everything. I know that sounds like a lot of extra work to some of you, but that's how my brain works. So then everything else went back into separate bags and containers, organized again, reorganized and reorganized according to pieces that I thought would go in each room, room by room, and sometimes just random things that I thought I wanted to use, but I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put it. And then we also had a separate basket and bags for picture frames and clocks, like wall things that were going to hang on the wall. Extra light fixtures, shelves that went into separate bags, rugs went into separate bags, paintings all went into a separate bag. That's just kind of how I did it. Paper, anything paper, like little letters, envelopes, scrolls for this particular room were used a lot. Those all had their own separate category. Glasses and bottles and alcohol had their own separate category. Lamps had their own separate category. Books. That's just, I mean, it works for me. It works really well for me. I'd love to hear from anyone who is, I don't know, a bit goofy about how they categorize things. If that method makes sense to you, or if you just think it's a little bit off the wall, it'd be fun to hear. Also, yep, I mean, napkins and table runners all had their separate little bag. Dishes had a separate bag. Food all had a separate bag. All of it. And then when I'm putting pieces together, then I'll go through all those bags and boxes and lay them out on a tray. Let's just show you. Let me show you part of one over here. This has got furniture on it, but that's kind of how I do it. I just lay it out on a tray with all the pieces that I want. So, like, for instance, we would have this little wine rack laid out, and then we pull out our glasses, we pull out our bottles. Same for something like this. We'd pull out every single thing that we were thinking about staging on this furniture piece, and you spread it on a tray and just kind of try to work through it. And once we got a lot of the major pieces done with their accessories staged on top of them, then I usually get a little bit of, not writer's block, I guess creator's block, dollhouse block. And so I just kind of had to step back, usually make a bag or a box of the stuff that I have left that I haven't been able to fit in, but I still want to utilize. And I'll either just put them in a bag inside the room or set them aside in the room to help me remember that's what I was wanting to do. Because my brain just goes from one thing to the other all the time. It's like 5 minutes ahead of myself. It's so frustrating. Yeah, that's kind of how we do that. So you can see I've got a bunch of like picture frames and pictures laid out on the floor of this room, and other little accessories because I haven't quite figured out where to put them, but I want to remind myself, but I definitely want to try to work these in. And once we get all of the furniture figured out, where we really decide we're going to affix it permanently, like that's the end. We've actually figured out the whole layout for the room as far as the big furniture pieces go. Then I'll go back in and I'll add a lot of the pictures on the wall and extra little shelves and little details that I wanted to add in each space. And again, if I get frustrated with it or I'm stuck, I'll just stop and I'll move on to something else until I can come back to it. I don't think that working when you're frustrated or confused is ever a good idea, because you just usually end up removing half the work you've done. It's easier for me, at least, to just calm down and move on to something else. So, we was staging all of our pictures. This room is just so chaotic, but I guess I filmed this one. I don't know if I've uploaded it yet, but this is how I wanted this room to be. I wanted it to be chaotic and full and messy, That's our man cave. He's got a lot to do in there. Yeah. So just working, you know, all of our wall decor and paintings and pictures. Oops, get back up here. Candlesticks and all that around the permanent spot that we've decided on for our furniture. And then we're also going to go back in. We're not done by any means. We're also going to go back in with plants. We've got a lot of plants we want to work in here. And we've got a ton more accessories that we hopefully can squeeze in that we haven't figured out where to put just yet. Thanks for watching.